Growing up is growing older, growing wiser. When you're a kid, I guess you could be anything you wanted. When you get older, you see there's many things you can't be. But in some ways, you might discover you can do things that you wouldn't have thought possible.
So if adults are very certain in their world to me as youngsters, whereas now as an adult I'm kind of going, when is that going to happen?
Growing up is getting to that point of acceptance. Either accepting the situation you're in, so you do have to knuckle down and just get through the 9-to-5 job. Or it's accepting, actually I don't want to do this 9-to-5 job, I want to do something else. You realise what is best for you, and you realise what is right for you, and you go and do it. That's growing up. That would be the ultimate growing up.
Growing up is being sensible, but growing up is something that everybody does, but some people do it better than others.
I suppose it's taking on responsibility, really. That's the main part of being grown up for me. But it doesn't have to change you really inside. I'm still quite childish.
Sometimes I feel grown up when I'm paying my bills and, when I'm thinking about what to have for dinner. And then sometimes I will just have popcorn for dinner, and then I feel kind of gleeful and be like, ha ha ha, I don't have to tell my mum that I'm just having popcorn for dinner. There's little moments of, regressing and then finding that excitement that you don't have to tell anyone, or you're not going to get in trouble from your mum and dad. Even though I still do occasionally get in trouble from my mum and dad.
I think it's mostly figuring out who you are, and I don't think you ever really stop. I mean, I'm way more certain who I am now than I was when I was 15. But I'm not 100% on it.
Growing up is learning to relate to what surrounds you and trying to be in integrity with yourself as you learn that. And it's not easy, and it never stops.
Growing up is never ending. I think it's a bit of a myth that you think you're going to get to a certain point in your life and then feel sort of like, well, that's that sorted. I think it's a long, never-ending process. Taking responsibility for the way that your life is going and holding yourself accountable to how happy you are and how satisfied you are, and realising that you're probably the main person who has control over that.
I don't know, I'm not grown up. I've no idea what growing up is. When I find out, I'll tell you.
Growing up is a process of realising things can be difficult and learning to cope with stuff. If you kind of feel grown up, then in a way it's kind of sad.
At what point are you growing up? Is it when you move out? Is it when you get a mortgage? Is it when you have a child? I don't know. I'm 32 now, and I still have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing. I still don't feel grown up. I still want to be an ice cream man.
Growing up is taking responsibility. I'm not entirely sure you ever grow up. I have a 9-year-old daughter. I thought having her would make me grow up. I'm not sure it did. But it did give me a window onto her innocence. And I think that, particularly when she was 4, and laughing on the floor was the best thing to do ever, perhaps we shouldn't all grow up.
Growing up's for boring people, really. I think you've always got to retain an element of being that excited child. So growing up's for people that still haven't got some dreams left, I suppose.
Do you ever grow up? I don't think you should ever grow up. I think if you grow up, then it's time to die. I think you should never grow up.